City, an everlasting metropolis whose streets are lined with dreams, ambitions, and the occasional homeless person. But among these labyrinthine streets and alleyways, a criminal disease lurks, threatening the lives of citizens on a daily basis. Luckily for the Big Apple's citizens, a watchful guard stands vigil. By day, he is Roy L. Payne, a mild-mannered English professor at NYU. But as the night takes over, he becomes the city's not-so-silent hero. He is the jack of all jests, the paladin of Paranomasia, the voice in the night that was, is, and always will be, the pun.
The pun is mightier than the sword.
We find our hero on a rooftop, overlooking the eastern side of New York City. He has a notebook in his hand, in which he is placidly writing. Let us now listen, and see if he has anything noteworthy to say.
Pun's Journal, October 23rd, 2013. Robbery at First National Bank this evening. Upon arrival, culprits knew I had them pinned. Third robbery this month. Had not counted on crime rate being so high. I shall seek them all out, and I shall punish them. No, I've already used that one. Around me, this city rolls outwards toward a dark eternity. The shadows laugh and stretch themselves, sprawling across buildings and streets. As I hide among them, I find myself hoping that these shadows are not an omen. However, the rise of shady figures lends doubt to my hopes. One day, when the skeletons in everyone's closets are revealed, when the corruption becomes too thick to breathe in, all those guilty spirits will look to the sky and choke out the words, "Punish us," and I shall whisper. No, that's rubbish. Gotta get off that one. Thought about incident with the voice. A terrible enemy indeed, and still at large no less. To what face could such voices belong? What malice could have bred a villain of that kind? What motivates it? I've not heard from the voice since incident. Could motives be possibly for attention? Can understand trying to put rift between me and the NYPD, but what gain could have been achieved by sabotaging a peace summit? Too many questions for one entry and too few answers to satisfy them. But I shall continue my work notwithstanding. I shall continue building the city up from the ground.
No calls from NYPD yet. A good sign, perhaps?
Pun! Pun, are you there?
Spoke too soon.
Pun, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Captain Rogers. What's the matter?
Well, Pun, I'm not sure how to explain it to you.
Try syllables and sentence structure, Captain. That usually works for me.
I don't think sarcasm's gonna do any of these hostages any good, Pun.
Hostages?
Yeah. We're at Pier 36 right now, dealing with some psycho who thinks he's a pirate.
A pirate? In New York, Captain?
Look, I don't blame you for not believing me. Hell, I'm not even sure I believe me. But you'd better believe me when I say we need you here, Pun.
On my way. I'm now varying crime fighting with a little piracy. I've always dreamed of swashbuckling, but now is not the time for daydreaming. I must go to them and see to this nautical problem. Hopefully the current situation will lead to smooth sailing.
We now look in on the situation at Pier 36. A pirate ship sits docked there, its Jolly Roger flag waving ominously in the night wind. The ship looks like someone has conjured it directly from the history books, its condition as impressive as the rows of well-maintained cannons on either side of its decks. The ship has been there for a few hours now, a group of hostages being held aboard. Captain Rogers and his men have been dealing with the situation and have just now been joined by Lieutenant Gillian Krieger, a hardened cop who has been working on Captain Rogers' team for some time.
I'm Mitch Mitchelson here for Channel 5 News. As you can see behind me, there is a massive pirate ship.
What do we do now, Captain?
We try to wait it out. If Commodore Bonkers up there will let us, that is.
Why don't we just send our own men in there? Can't we handle him without some vigilantes' help?
You weren't here earlier, Lieutenant, but we tried that already. 5 of my men boarded that ship, and now they're hostages too. Trust me, I don't immediately resort to calling the pun in a situation like this.
I understand, sir.
It's not like I enjoy being shown up by some guy in a cape and mask, you know.
Then why do we work with him?
Because you can't argue with the results. And I trust that he's here to help. The pun has been making the streets of New York cleaner and cleaner since he first appeared 3 years ago.
You realize that's what you should be saying about the NYPD, right? Not some freak in a cape who decides he's above the law.
I recall sneezing on my way over here. Was someone talking about me?
Sneezing, huh? That's cute, given the mask you're wearing.
Ah, Pun, you're here. Good. Have you met Lieutenant Krieger?
I haven't the pleasure, no.
So you're the infamous Pun, huh?
Infamous? I should hope not.
Honestly, I was expecting more. I mean, sure, you have the cape, but what about body armor? Weapons? Is that a tweed jacket?
A tweed jacket lined with Kevlar, yes. So, I understand we're dealing with pirates this evening, Captain.
That's right. He's holed up in that ship there.
Who is he holding hostage?
Well, we know he has about 12 civilians, along with officers, and
Sorry, Captain, but what?
Weren't you just scolding the Pun for messing around?
I'm not messing around, Lieutenant. I said officers, and are being held. Wait, what the hell? I can't say their names.
What do you mean?
I mean just that. I can't say their names.
Try writing them out.
Good idea. I can't write them either. They're just coming out as blank lines.
For the love of... Here, let me do it. This doesn't make any sense. I know these names, but it's like my hand's refusing to write them.
We can't say or write the names of those hostages. It's as if those names have been stolen.
Well, what the hell kind of a thief is that?
A powerful one.
Have you heard of this sort of thing happening before, Pun?
I've heard rumors circulating the underworld. There were whispers in the dark about a crime lord who steals your name, then makes you do favors for him in exchange for returning your name. I disregarded these rumors for a long time, though, since such a thing doesn't seem possible.
Not without magic. Or something like that.
But it's been clearly demonstrated before my eyes and ears, so there doesn't seem to be another explanation.
We're really supposed to believe that. Seems pretty convenient that you'd show up right when all this craziness is happening.
They say it's a fool who denies the evidence of their senses. You tried it yourself, Lieutenant, both speaking and writing, and were as unsuccessful as Captain Rogers was. I'd say that's grounds for belief, given the circumstances.
Well, what'll we do then?
Whoever this person is, I doubt they'll be expecting me. I'll sneak aboard and see what I can do about the hostages.
I don't think we have much choice. All right, Pun. We'll be out here when you need us.
I still don't like this. But if this is what it takes to be a cop in this city, fine. Just try not to die in there, Pun.
Thanks for the tip, Lieutenant.
And so, the Pun boards the mysterious ship, seeming to glide across the creaking boards of the vessel that appear to have fallen out of its time. Once inside, our hero hides among the barrels and crates. Although he hasn't encountered anyone, the Pun feels uneasy, as if some terrible fate awaits him somewhere aboard the ship. Eventually, our hero makes his way to the ship's deck, where the moon hangs eerily overhead, a dense fog seeming to surround the ship.
I was under the impression that there'd be hostages here. Maybe I was wrong about this criminal not expecting me. Well, if that isn't a sign.
Our hero whirls around to see a pirate storm through the door behind him. The pirate wears a long ash-gray coat, a floppy hat with a feather of magnificent length in the band, and across his chest he wears what appears to be a long scroll with countless names scrawled upon it. Some of the names have been scratched out, while others appear to have remained for a long time.
Well, well, well. A long-nosed stowaway.
I presume you're our pirate, then.
Aye, 'twould be me, and I suppose you would be the pun.
What makes you assume that?
The nose is a dead giveaway. Besides, there be something familiar about ye. So tell me, lad, what are you doing on me ship?
You have several hostages aboard. I'm here to negotiate their release.
You'd certainly be the oddest diplomat I've ever had aboard, lad. But very well. Allow me to introduce myself. I be the nom de pirate.
Nom de pirate. As in nom de plume.
Aye. 'Twould be me. So name your terms, pun.
He's being awfully reasonable. I should proceed carefully. You must return the names of all the hostages, then let them go.
Return the names. Whatever do ye mean?
Don't play dumb, nom de pirates. I know full well you're the crime lord who steals the names of those he employs, forcing them to commit unspeakable crimes to get them back.
There be no fooling ye, good Sir Pun. Aye, kicking arse and taking names be me profession. I would ask for pardon for such a pun, but I think you're just the sort to appreciate it. Very well. The names of the prisoners shall be returned, and they shall be set free. Anything else?
No, I believe that's everything. Now, I suppose you'll be wanting something in exchange. Ah! You pricked my finger with the feather in your hat. Oh, no.
And with that, I take me payment. Oh, I am a man of my word, lad. Don't ever forget it. But now I have a much sweeter prize. New York's most powerful wordsmith at me beck and call. That is, of course, if he is to have any hope of getting his name back.
Oh, really? You think you have me trapped, eh? Sorry, Captain, but I'm afraid that ship has sailed. After all, I'm sure I have more important things to attend to. And I'm starting to get bored.
Oh, lad, you're a ruddy wonder with words. The rumors told no lies.
Blast! That didn't work. Usually by the third pun, they're ready to surrender. I guess this one has an appreciation for wordplay.
Quit your yammering, lad. Who are you even talking to?
What do you want from me, nom de pirate?
A simple errand, mate. 'Twill be nothing more.
What kind of errand? Something tells me you want more than someone to carry your groceries.
Your instincts serve ye well, lad. The errand be nothing more than stealing the precious mermaid princess figurehead from the museum.
And if I refuse?
Trust me, lad. You'd rather not know what has happened to those whose names are crossed out.
I see. I suppose I would rather not, wouldn't I?
Aye. Now you're listening to reason. Bring the figurehead to me and I'll return your name. Should ye fail, well, I'm sure you can put that together.
Very well, nom de pirate. I'll get you your figurehead.
Oh, and, your little friend Captain Rogers. Best not to involve him and his mates, savvy? or else.
Understood.
I wouldn't get ahead of myself there if I were you, Captain.
What in the world? What are you doing? Oh no. He got you too, didn't he?
Great Scott! It's Royal Payne's teaching assistant at NYU. And it appears her name has been stolen by the fiendish nom de pirate as well.
Now, lass. You don't know what you're doing.
I know that the edge of this cutlass is in position to go straight through your heart, nom de pirate.
Ye don't have the nerve.
Try me.
Perhaps we can work out an accord, Missy.
Sorry, I'm not in the mood to make any deals. How about I just take what I want from you at Cutlass Point?
Shame. You could have made this much easier on yourself, lass.
Wait! What are you doing?
Your stance is good, lass. Very good. Now, let's see how your sword plays.
Well, she seems to be holding her own. But where did she learn to fight like that? What in the devil is she doing here in the first place?
What's the matter, lass? Your stance is looking worse than your bargaining posture.
I'm not out of the game just yet, Captain!
No! Damn you, nom de pirate! You've had your fun, now stop this!
We both know how this'll end, lad.
It looks like the nom de pirate has the edge in this duel. Where at first Elena seemed to be holding her own against the swashbuckling scoundrel, now the tide of the match has turned in favor of the crooked captain. Suddenly, with a mighty stroke, the duel is won.
Now ye see the foolishness of your actions, I wager. Eh, little girl?
No!
Hey, I had to try, didn't I?
Indeed. And a valiant try it were, lass. Now, let's see you try to breathe with an open throat.
Not so fast, nom de pirate. Let her go. Now!
If it ain't one thing, it be another.
I challenge you, nom de pirate, to armed combat.
And the stakes would be your name returned, I suppose.
Not just mine. Everyone's.
Anything else?
You leave New York City and never return.
Them be some hefty conditions, lad. But I accept. And if I win...
I have a bad feeling about this.
If you win what? Name your terms, pirate.
If I win, I get them both.
Both of what?
Your names. Don't take me for a fool, lad. I know ye got a secret name, one ye don't use for fear of those who might exploit it. 'Tis a name far more valuable than the alias I snagged from ye earlier. And if I happen to emerge from this victorious, that name shall be mine as well, for as long as I see fit.
No! Don't do it, it's too risky.
I accept, nom de pirate.
Well then, have at thee!
Is there a problem, nom de pirate?
What makes ye think that, ye swab?
Well, you seem a bit on edge.
Ah, yes, I see your wit hasn't slowed a bit, lad. Even in the midst of bloody combat!
Well, I'm glad to see I've made the cut!
Our hero seems just as quick with the sword as with his wit. The fearsome duel rages on from bow to stern of the nom de pirate's ship, with neither opponent giving way to the other.
I could keep this up all night, you lily-livered one-liner!
Or you can always bow out.
You're starting to irritate me, boy.
No need to be stern, Captain.
We'll see how many more puns you can make when I cut out your tongue.
Meanwhile, back on the pier, Captain Rogers and his men have been more anxious when they hear the commotion.
What the hell is going on up there?
It Sounds like they're fighting.
A pun-slinging superhero who is now sword fighting with a pirate that steals people's names. It's just as ridiculous as it sounds.
We need to be ready for the worst. If isn't off that ship in 10 minutes, we raid it.
If who isn't off the ship?
I said if isn't off. Oh no. Get everyone ready! We raid the ship in 10 minutes!
Yes, sir.
Meanwhile, back on the ship,
Come on, you can beat him!
Cheers, mademoiselle.
Ah,
What's the matter, nom de pirate? Afraid I'm going to foil your plans? But then I had you pegged from the beginning, didn't I?
I don't get it.
really? I mean, you, of all people, didn't get that?
Well, I can see the tide of this fight is turning.
Your mother!
Oh, this fight has taken a dive, hasn't it?
I'm going to skin you alive, you bantering idiot!
Well, I wouldn't want to steer you wrong, nom de pirates, but I'm sure that when this fight is finished, you'll find your efforts were all for naught. It's over, nom de pirate.
I suppose 'tis.
Remember our agreement.
A man of me word I am.
Way to go out there, Pun. Oh, you got your name back.
Good, that settles our part. Now the hostages. Release them at once.
Very well. The 5 gentlemen in the hold are free to go. Their names are restored as well.
5? I saw at least 17 men down there.
Are you holding out on us, nom de pirate?
Well, you see, this be where things get a bit complicated, lad.
What do you mean?
Those other gents down below, the ones whose names remain on me list, they be me crew.
So wait, you threw me, a prisoner, down there with a bunch of your pirates?
Aye. We haven't installed the brig yet. Sorry for that, lass. Now, I can't go sailing an entire ship all by myself, can I?
Well then, you and your crew will leave New York City forever.
Aye. The boys won't be too keen on that, but I did agree to those terms, didn't I?
Good. I'm happy to see that you pirates aren't entirely shellfish.
Alright, enough of that. Off me ship, both of ye! If I never see you two scabrous dogs again, it'll be too soon.
Wait, Nom de Pirate, we're not done here.
What do you want now, you little brat?
Elena, what's going on here?
I snuck aboard the ship earlier because you have information I want. I might have gotten it sooner if you hadn't stolen my name first, but you're going to give it to me, or I'm going to turn you over to the cops.
But we had an accord!
Your agreement was with the Pun, not with me. Talk, or your next stop is prison.
What the hell are you doing?
So what'll it be, Captain?
Well, I knew I sensed a fire in ye. What do you want to know, Miss Salt?
I know who you got your power from, the one who gave you that quill in your hat.
Ah, so ye be seeking the fiction witch. Yes, I remember her. A real charmer she was. Traded me own name for this ear quill and the power it holds.
That's her. Now tell me where to find her.
An elusive one she is. However, there be a small corner of the New York Public Library that few have spoken of and even fewer have seen. I'd say your best bet would be to start there.
That's all you know?
A pirate I may be, but I'm only a liar for the highest bidder. That's all, missy.
All right, let's go, Pun.
I had a feeling there was something familiar about you, Pun. Perhaps our little friendly librarian had something to do with it.
Shove off, nom de pirate.
And so, with the nom de pirates defeated and the 5 hostage police officers released, our heroes find themselves back on the docks, watching as the pirate ship shrinks into the late night fog.
You let them get away?
It was the best way I could resolve the situation without casualties. If we had gone in there guns blazing, who knows what might have happened? Who might have been hurt?
Easy, Lieutenant. He got rid of them, and the hostages are safe now. That's what matters here.
And I made our nautical friend swear to never set foot in New York again. He's someone else's problem now.
Some superhero you are, then, pawning the baddies off to someone else.
Perhaps one day we'll see eye to eye, Lieutenant.
Clearly not today.
Well, either way. Thank you, Putt. I'm glad to see this ordeal's over. And from what I heard, you seemed pretty handy with a blade.
Well, what boy doesn't grow up dreaming of swashbuckling and fighting pirates?
I was more of a cowboy kid myself, but I see where you're coming from.
Please. Ninjas are so much cooler.
Whatever floats your boat. Well, on that note, see you later, Captain, Lieutenant.
I'd better go see to the hostages. Can you take over from here, Lieutenant?
Yes, sir. I don't like this at all. I mean, there was a time when freaks like the Pun and that pirate only existed in fiction. And suddenly they all spring up everywhere around the same time? I'd better look into this. To see if the Pun is a true hero or a bad joke.
Meanwhile, Elena Salt returns from this harrowing ordeal to her apartment near NYU. She has a laptop and a map of New York City set on the table. Little does she know that tonight she has a visitor. A visitor with questions.
The New York Public Library. Figured she'd be hiding in the one place I thought too ridiculous to check. After all this time, let's hope this fiction witch can deliver. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet.
Elena, I assume you know why I'm here.
You assume correctly, Roy.
Just what the hell was all that back there?
I can't tell you.
Why not?
Because I can't, okay?
It's not okay, Elena. First you make that recording of my conversation with the voice, and now you're looking for someone called the Fiction Witch? What are you doing?
I thought you'd be a little more grateful, Roy, since this is twice I've saved you and everything.
Not if you've actually been using me this whole time. Is that what this has been?
It's not about you.
Then who is it about?
I can't tell you!
You know who the voice is, don't you?
What are you talking about?
I can see the recording on your laptop. You're looking for the voice because you know who it is. That's why you've been following me around, and that's why you took a recording from that night. If you've been hiding any information about the voice, then you could be in serious trouble, Elena. You could go to jail for interfering with an investigation and obstructing justice. And I don't want to see that happen.
You're wrong.
Who is it, Elena? You can tell me or just lie there, avoiding my questions.
Roy, please.
Believe me, this is just as painful for me as it is for you.
Stop it!
Who is the voice, Elena?
I can't tell you!
Or should I just take whatever you say with a grain of salt?
Please stop!
Why are you protecting the voice?
Because she's my sister!
Wait. What?
Meanwhile, deep within the corridors of the New York Public Library, a beautiful woman is carrying a small stack of books deep into the building. She reaches up to one of the books on the shelf and pulls on it, causing the entire shelf to swing outward like a massive door. The woman passes through the mysterious doorway, entering a cellar in which stacks upon stacks of old books, scrolls, and papers are stored. The walls are covered with what appears to be lines of narrative text. Stories, perhaps? The woman takes a seat at a small, cluttered table amidst the stacks, setting her books down and opening a small red one. As she reads, her eyes snap forward, as if sensing something that nobody else can.
I see. So my part in this is revealed now. I suppose there was no other way things could turn out. I've never made my clients swear to secrecy. Perhaps I should prepare for company. After all, there is a story here. A story that was woven with love and heartbreak. Perhaps the time has come we saw an end to it. So the story is told, so the ending must be.
With one situation resolved, another reveals itself. The voice is Elena Salt's sister? Who is this sister? Why has Elena kept this a secret? And how will Roy L. Payne respond to this news? And who is this woman who lives deep within the New York Public Library? Find out all this and more on the next exciting episode, where we'll join the cloaked, quipped crusader on another adventure. Until then, remember that
The pun is mightier than the sword. Ha 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 ha.